Hi everybody, this is Daniel Gray. I am the
lives. Part of the human experience, all you can do is just love it. God, I'm looking at myself here today in my TrailerPark Prophet video, and boy, my hair is a mess. I'm going to have to put on my hat. Hang on there. I'll tell you what, the old prophet doesn't look as good as he used to, so I'll put on this old hat. Maybe I'll feel a little better about myself. All right, of course, what can I say? This is citizen journalism. All right, we're going to jump right into the program. Let's see, where do I want to start? I want to talk about Frederick Douglass. I want to talk about illegals and veterans. I want to talk about dead bodies. I want to talk about unemployment, Chamber of Commerce, Tea Party. I want to talk about jocks being dumb, Governor Chris Christie, and all.
Job numbers were just released. And as you might remember, the unemployment number, the U3 number, last time got reduced to 7% unemployment. Now that's the U3 number. You need to know the difference between the U3 and the U6 number. And all these numbers come from the Labor Department, and they're scientifically gathered and analyzed and so on and so forth. But at any rate, the new unemployment numbers out, the new U3 unemployment numbers came out, and unemployment in our country has gone down below 7%.
And the Obama administration has got to be cautious and not overplay the success of his new lowering unemployment.
Those people aren't included in the U3 numbers. So we have 92 million people in the United States that are unemployed, who are perfectly able-bodied, mentally capable of working, and they simply are staying home or wherever they are and not looking for work. 92 million. That's almost a third of the population in the United States does not have a job. A third. Now we know 46 million people in the United States, a record, are now on
on food stamps, 46 million. And so the U6 number that includes the people that are looking for work and the people that aren't looking for work is 13%. So really in this country we have 13% unemployment rate, the U6 number. That's the real number. This is Obama's economy. And why I told you that Obama knew these numbers, their internal polls, the polls they take inside the Obama administration, they knew that the economy would be south.
See, this is a manufactured... Well, I was going to say, yeah, it's a manufactured issue. If you believe that Obama and the progressive socialists want to destroy the American economy, the USA economy, if you want to believe that like some people do, but regardless, the Obama economy is in a free fall. It's a disaster. It's like the Titanic is sinking and going underwater, and the media is reporting on how good the band sounds on the Titanic, critiquing the band. And only, what was it, in December, only 78,000 jobs were created all across the United States. 78,000. That's less than 2,000 jobs per state. And the Obama administration was... All right, I might have to take a break here. Just a second. I'll be right back after break. I have some company. Just hang on.
All right, everybody, I'm back. What time is it? Oh, Lordy, I had to take care of some personal business there. Not everybody knows that I'm on the air. Sounds like the music is screwing up.
Alright, hang on everybody, maybe I got this figured out here. Having a little technical difficulties here. You're listening to the TrailerPark Prophet on Blog Talk Radio, live from Crestone, Colorado. And this is Local Friday. Let me get back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about the U6 numbers compared to the U3 numbers. And the bottom line is that our economy is bad shape. And we haven't had unemployment numbers like this since Jimmy Carter. And the only thing we don't have that Jimmy Carter had was inflation. And I'm here to tell you that we're going to have inflation. I don't know when, but it's coming. I can see it in my plastic crystal ball. All right, let's see here. Moving on. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. All right, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. And for my long-term listeners, we've spent a lot of time on that. Afghanistan war. And whether you like it or not, one thing that America did, one thing that we used our blood and treasure on was to provide an environment for women to have equal rights, gays to have equal rights, and Christians to have equal rights as well. And we should always be proud of that. And when you're out there on the public square, I want you to remember next time that you hear someone bad-mouthing Iraq and Bush and all of the strategy that brought equal rights to women in the Middle East, remind them of that, and that, of course, Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, just bring that up. I think we owe it to people to tell them that, hey, look, you know, there's another side of the deal. And now we're finding out that Al-Qaeda has reconstituted themselves in Iraq, and they're right on the verge of reconstituting themselves again in Afghanistan. So President Obama, by withdrawing our troops and not leaving our residual force, has left Iraq vulnerable, and now they're being overrun by Al-Qaeda. And this here thought how parts of Iraq. In fact, there's stories I haven't reported on this before of people, or rather Al-Qaeda, going through Iraq all the way to Syria. That's how porous the Iraqi borders are now that the U.S. troops have left. And it was a complete
presidential malpractice of President Obama not to come to what's called a force of arms agreement with Iraq, ensuring that the U.S. would have a base or two in Iraq and be able to continually train Iraqi forces in fighting off insurgencies and protecting their borders. But Obama didn't want to have any part of that forces of arm agreement. He just wanted to pick up stakes and get the hell out. And now the Iraqi people are paying the price. And it's just like what happened in Vietnam. We pulled out of Vietnam, we pulled out of Cambodia, and then the Cambodian government killed millions and millions of Vietnamese. I mean, we're setting up the same kind of genocide in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's all because Democrats want to finish wars and decide that they have the stomach for political take.
Anymore that that's what's gonna happen in Afghanistan after the U.S. and coalition troops pull out. That creates a vacuum, and the Taliban are gonna rush in, and there's gonna be a genocide of anyone who had anything to do with the Americans or the Allied forces. And it's going to be the kind of thing where you can just say, hey, Mahmoud over there, he had connections with the Americans, and Mahmoud all of a sudden is hanging from a light pole. And Mahmoud's home and family and women are all going to be tortured and raped incessantly, maybe even beheaded and stoned to death. That's going to be the fate of women in Afghanistan and Iraq. That's going to be their fate. You need to understand that. You need to make others understand that too. And really, there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it, even if everybody in the country started doing what they ought to do and say, hey, we need to stay in Afghanistan until that country is able to take care of themselves. And yes, that may take several decades. That's what we should have done in Iraq. The other thing we should have done in Iraq, too, is cut it down to agreement before we turned over the country that we were going to get paid back that money. And that could have been registered with whatever, the World Bank, but, you know, they need to sign on the dotted line. You're going to pay us back for taking down Saddam Hussein, who was one of the more ruthless leaders in the Middle East. A lot of people don't know about Saddam Hussein and his sons and all of their palaces all over Iraq, and they would have these rape rooms and hold women captive as sex slaves. I mean, most people have no idea how depraved Saddam Hussein or Saddam was. I mean, they just don't. All right, here I got this story here. The headline kind of caught my eye. It's on the same kind of subject. I never seen this website before. It says, "We the people, the only thing more expensive than education is ignorance," and that comes from Benjamin Franklin. And they have the dumbest Democrat quotes, great quotes, updates. It's kind of an interesting website here. I like the banner. story's about and where I wanted to direct this segment. And here's another story. We've talked about this before, and I just can't overemphasize to you how important, how critical to your understanding, my understanding of the political landscape. And what I speak of is the United States Chamber of Commerce. Republicans are constantly branded as in bed with big business, when in fact the reality is just the opposite. And this story illustrates my point brilliantly. And I got this story from Vesta Kane, the Daily News Briefing. U.S. Chamber President vows to make Tea Party feel some heat. And the bottom line is that the U.S. Chamber is in bed with the progressive socialist movement, even people are able to get their mind around this actual situation and just how effective the progressive socialist propaganda machine has been in instilling in people's minds that Republicans are purely for big business. And when you think about what people perceive or believe, like perception becomes reality, and look at that situation and recognize the psychology involved, it's interesting. It's quite brilliant how effective progressive propaganda has been in brainwashing so many people. Let's see. Not happy. A youth misery index that measures young American woes has skyrocketed under President Obama and hit a all-time high. This is the Daily Briefing summary. Targeted. The U.S. Justice Department selected an avowed political supporter of President Obama to lead the criminal probe into the IRS targeting of Tea Party groups, according to top Republicans who said Wednesday that the move has ruined the entire investigation. Now, that was a real bold move by the Justice Department. And it's really a slap in the face of conservatives and anyone who believes in justice, fair, and balanced. You know, the old lady justice with her eyes blindfolded. Here Obama appoints one of his major campaign to the IRS. Alright, more targeting on Wednesday. John Donahue, the president and CEO of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, vowed to make the Tea Party feel some heat in the 2014 in order to get amnesty legislation passed. Tom Donahue. Now, I can't remember. No, that's somebody else. And so there again, I mean, I bring this up to prove my point. Again, that the Chamber of Commerce is part of the progressive socialist movement. Remember, big business loves big government because they can dovetail their operation and adhere to any rules and regulations of big government because they have the ability to hire more staff to dovetail with all the government regulations, where a little business doesn't have that same capability. Does that make sense to you? In other words, like a big corporation like pick GE, they don't care so much about regulations because they just add it on to the cost of the product. All right?
I mean, they have to hire 10, 15 more people to oversee government. So
let's see here. Resolution. Senator Marco Rubio outlined several proposals Thursday for combating poverty in the U.S., including replacing the Earned Income Tax Credit with a federal wage enhancement and consolidating federal anti-poverty funding into one single agency. Now that's a pretty good idea there. And it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Who was talking about instead of just having all of these government agencies like welfare, food stamps, WIC, and energy assistance, and all these other smorgasbord of government programs, just take all that money and then divide it by the number of poor people and just send them a check. I can't remember the term. We actually were first on that story. And yet here it looks like the Republicans, through Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, have kind of gone to that idea. And see, it looks like this is another attempt by the Republican Party. I like this. Democrats seem to having to admit that it's not really about social justice, that it's about creating new voters for the Democratic Party. And this looks like the same kind of situation that Marco Rubio has come up with. And I like that. So he's taken on combating poverty in the U.S., including replacing the Earned Income Tax Credit with a federal wage enhancement and consolidating federal anti-poverty funding into one single agency. Now, if you could cut the amount of bureaucrats in half, you would be saving the country billions and billions of dollars every year. I mean, the real cost and the devil in the details with these government programs is in the administration and the duplication of administration. All right, next up, Obamacare. 1 in 5 Democrats now opposes Obamacare, a record high. 1 in 5 Democrats opposes Obamacare, a record high. According to the latest and third Business Daily tracking poll, and more than Democrats Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, I'm back. Thank you. This is really citizen journalism. Okay, here's another mini headline. I like these. These are kind of cool. This is about Al-Qaeda again. From around Aleppo in western Syria and small areas of Fallujah in central Iraq, now Al-Qaeda now controls territory that stretches for more than 400 miles across the heart of the Middle East, according to English and Arab language news accounts as well as accounts on jihadist websites. Now that could be the headline for the whole news cycle. Except we're talking about Governor Chris Christie, who allegedly, or who's on his staff, closed lanes.
Lines of traffic to punish a town whose mayor supported Christie's opposition. And here we have this story from around Aleppo in western Syria and small areas of Fallujah in central Iraq. Al-Qaeda now controls territory that stretches more than 400 miles across the heart of the Middle East. And President Obama campaigned on Al-Qaeda's on the run, and General Motors is saved. Not happy? Oh wait, we're gonna, where's my background music? Oh, I must have lost that. I was gonna do some background music as I read the news. But, well, you know, it is my show. We could come back to this. Or maybe not. Okay, let's do this. We'll just keep going. Not happy, all right? A youth misery index that measures young American woes has skyrocketed under President Obama and hit an all-time high. 0. The index compiled by the Young American Foundation is adding in 2009 to 98.6 in 2013. Youth unemployment in 2013 was 16.3%. See, that's scary. And amongst black youth, it's something like 25%. And student loan debt came in at at a record-breaking average of $29,400 last year. That's a lot of money for a young person in their 20s. The foundation points out what's more, each person's share of the roughly $17 trillion national debt stands at its highest level, over $52,948. See, I think some out there in the youngosphere are starting to wise up to Obama and all the promises that they heard over the last 6 years of their life. And now they're growing up, they're out in the workplace, and they're finding that they're having a difficult time. Expensive regulations that went into effect in 2013 cost Americans $112 or $400 million. In the district, the big bro. Oh my god, this is kind of cool. Edward Snowden, remember he was a guy that worked for a private NSA contractor, and he gathered up all the information from the NSA and downloaded it onto thumb drives and laptops, and then took the information from Hawaii to China, and who now is in Russia with all that NSA, RNSA, National Security Administration. I think that's what they're called. At any rate, big bro, Edward Snowden's leaks about the National Security Agency, okay,
have put U.S. troops at risk and prompted terrorists to change their tactics, according to a classified Pentagon report. Now, see, I'm kind of concerned whether or not I believe that or not. That doesn't really give us. I mean, it says
polls. The Benghazi poll conducted by YouGov found 44% of the public thinks that the Obama administration deliberately misled the American people when President Obama and other administration officials claimed it was prompted by an anti-Muslim YouTube video. I'm telling you, this Benghazi story, it's huge. Something happened in Benghazi, or something was going on in Benghazi that the Obama administration didn't want the public to know about. And we have a lot of good conjecture what that might be, but something's going on. There's a big cover-up, and there's a big reason. All right, cooked. What time is it? Oh, 1:39. Now you're TrailerPark Prophet on Blog Talk Radio. This is Local Friday. We're broadcasting live from San Luis Valley has been in a drought cycle for 7 years now, so a lot of people are really hoping and praying that Mother Nature has a sympathetic eye on the San Luis Valley and bestows mucho snow upon us. All right, cooked. A congressional committee is planning to grill U.S. Census Bureau workers over falsified unemployment information that made it appear more people had jobs shortly before the 2012 presidential election, according to the New York Post. The House Oversight Committee, which has been conducting an investigation into the Census Bureau, has asked the Commerce Department to allow 6 members of its census staff in Philadelphia to be questioned by the committee's investigators. And I think they're going to find, these people already admitted. Congress, the Center for oh, this is interesting. The Center for Responsive Public Politics analyzed the personal financial disclosure data from 2012 of the 534 current members of Congress and found that for the first time more than half had an average net worth of $1 million or more, 268 to be exact, up from 257 a year earlier. The median for congressional Democrats was 1.4 million, and for Republicans, 1 million even. Oh my God. They're crooks. All of them are not trustworthy. Jesus, Joseph and Mary, Buddha and Allah. and may not serve out his term. Oh man. I had prostate cancer, and I've been cancer-free now for 5 years, so I understand what this is all about. Alright, here, hang on a minute. I wanna play some music. Give me a moment here. You know, I think I'm coming down with the flu again. You know, I kind of like teeter on the edge sometimes between having the flu. I have these like light flu symptoms, like now I'm a little lightheaded. Alright, I want some mood music. Listening. Similar to the amount of water flow. There are some similarities between bandwidth and water volume. I don't know. Now wait, let's see here. I'm really fascinated by YouTube. I told you guys, right, that I now have a TrailerPark Prophet YouTube channel, and I put all my shows on there now. Let's see here. No, this isn't what I want. And I have to have a video on in a scary way, be on video. But look at me for 2 hours. Yeah. See, I like that. Oh, kind of just calms me down a little. Alright, back to the daily news briefing. I'm really enjoying this, so we're going to go ahead with this. Let's see. Congress, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said Wednesday that lawmakers need to start putting in more hours again during a lengthy speech on the floor, lamenting how the institution of the U.S. has changed for the worst in recent years. McConnell called the longer work week a decent. Alright, you know, what I have to do in the future is download this music. One of these days I'm going to be able to master this running my radio show from my laptop, but in the meantime we're going to have to endure some painful periods. Alright, let's see here. Maybe what I should do is get rid of some of these
tabs. Maybe that'll make a difference. I don't know. Well, we got to do this one. Where's my download? I was going to go to the Gunnison Country Times. Maybe I ought to force myself to follow through on the actual theme of the day, but obviously I got this script too. All right, this is difficult.
Economy. The letter led by Representative Mo Brooks, a Republican from Alabama, lays out the case against the Senate's Gang of Eight bill that passed last year, contending the legislation would hurt Americans' wages and increase unemployment. The letter points out that the Senate legislation would double the number of guest workers and add over 30 million immigrants over the next decade, the majority of which would be lower skilled according to the Congressional Budget Office. And I contend that there's already 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants in the U.S. as we live and breathe. The solution, according to Senator Marco Rubio, outlined several proposals Thursday for combating poverty in the U.S., and we talked about this. The other major change would be replace the, and we talked about that too. Okay, the utility. Born in the United States were born to unmarried mothers. Not a good trend. Oh, where are we? Well, we're all already at almost 150. I forgot to mention that if you want to be on the Trailer Park Prophet show, you can do that by dialing 646-716-8506. Again, if you'd like to be on the Trailer Park Prophet show, you can do that by dialing 646-716-8506. And I forgot to announce to my poor Facebook friends, no, where are you going? That my show is now being broadcast. Might as well let them know I'm on the air. Maybe I can keep my act together, not. Oh, I see. Oh, I turned off something. Let's see. I'm going to try it one more time for the mood music. I know this is against my judgment, but To 60% and 71% of poor families with children are not headed by a married couple. Breakdown of the family. One of the goals of progressive socialism, in case you didn't know. And Marx talked about it too, about if you want to take over America without firing a shot, one of the things that you have to disassemble is the family. In 2011, there was a report by the Pew Research Center found that 64% of adults with college degrees are married, while only 47% of those with high school education or less are. That's interesting. Now, why would that be? What would be the psychological reason for
more educated folk to want to be married opposed to arts that are educated.
Their chances of success and their ability to save money will benefit them jointly, and it may even enable them to retire earlier and to enjoy more things as a cohesive unit. I don't know. There has to be a reason. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of reasons, but I wonder what the main reason is. You know, that's the question, I guess. Okay, let's see. According to the Heritage Foundation's analysis, children raised in a growing number of single-parent homes are 4 times more likely to be living in poverty than children reared by married parents of the same education level. Children who grow up without a father in the home are also more likely to suffer from a broad array of social and behavioral problems. The consequences continue into adulthood. Children raised by single parents are 3 times more likely to end up and 50% more and the consequences are there's more people in jail, so that there's more government employees to watch over them, and it's like a conspiracy, like it was planned. And these numbers are horrible. I mean, we're witnessing in our time the decay of the most productive society in the history of mankind. That's what we're watching. We have a bird's eye view of the conscientious destruction of the American way of life. Live. Congress, Tim Scott, I love Tim Scott. He is a conservative Republican from South Carolina, and he's a black guy, and he is the nicest guy on the planet. He's so polite. He just has a way about him that is very endearing. He spoke like Ronald Reagan. Restore the 40-hour work week. The 40-hour work week. The measure is attached to a bill extending jobless benefits for the long-term unemployed, which the Senate is now considering. Obamacare will destroy the 40-hour work week as we know it, Scott said. The Affordable Care Act employer mandate requires employers to provide insurance to full-time employees defined as those working 30 or more hours a week. Scott's amendment will change the definition of full-time employment under Obamacare to 40 hours a week. And this is key in something else that came out in these labor and employment numbers. Remember I said there was only 78,000 new jobs created in December? They're expecting, they meaning the Obama administration was expecting 100,000 new jobs. Well, those new 78,000 jobs in December, which should have been huge because of the holiday rush, Regulations until it publicly reports the economic impacts of existing clean air regulations. Now, in regular government, there has to be a fiscal impact attached to any piece of legislation or regulation, so that the people who are deciding on public policy have to consider the actual costs. And so this is common sense. And the other thing that's been going on with the EPA and all the other government agencies that have the ability to promulgate rules and regulations, they're supposed to post those regulations and allow for 3 months, 6 months for public response. And the Obama administration has failed to do that. Many of the Obama administration government agencies that promulgate rules and regulations have not been abiding by the disclosure requirements of new regulations, which in my mind that's tyranny. Carbon emissions to 1,100 pounds per megawatt hour. The average U.S. coal plant emits more than 1,700 pounds of carbon per megawatt hour. Coal plants can only comply with the regulation if they adopt carbon capture and sequestration technology, which the coal industry says is commercially unproven. And remember, we did that story back several months ago about taking the carbon dioxide and pumping it down into the earth. And for some reason that technique is okay by progressive socialists and environmentalists, but drilling down and pumping in fluid known as fracking to get natural gas is not okay. All right, you're listening to the TrailerPark Prophet. My name is Daniel Gray. We're broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio. This is some favorite prophet. No, this is local. What I have here is a skeleton. I'm able to add on the meat from other articles I've been reading over the course of the last 2 days. But let's see. This is Local Friday, and of course all politics is local, and oh darn. I'm so dumb. I wiped out my Gunnison Country Times. And you know what? I don't want to bring it back up right now because I had it downloaded. I promise you, I swear to God, we will do the Gunnison Country Times, the Gunnison Dead Tree News on Monday. All right? I know this has been a problem with the TrailerPark Prophet, and I'm going to make every effort I can to stop that. I got to take and we're gonna do that more in the future. And I'm gonna try to do, I want to see if I can, one more try on, oh jeez. I want to do the background music today. I'm just jonesing for background music. And if you want to talk to the... Oops. Alright, let me try one more time. YouTube. Y-O-U-T-U-B-E. Background. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm not myself. I'm telling you, I think I got the flu coming on again. I hope not. What's happening this year is that it comes on with a little symptoms. And that's how it feels when I'm in the beginning stages of the flu. At any rate, this is Local Friday. This is the 10th of January already. And we're on Blog Talk Radio. Coming at you live from Crestone, Colorado. I think I mentioned that already, but you just can't say enough good things about Crestone, Colorado. You know what I mean? Of course you don't. Alright, let's see if we can bring on some music here. I don't know why I'm obsessed about this today, but I am. So here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. It's got a beautiful picture. And this is called background music, nature sounds, frogs, and ducks. And of course, it's not going to work. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Taxi driver. It was raining hard in Memphis. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead went to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said, 16 Parkside Lane. All right, we're not gonna have any music.